Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Melissa Beam and I am sharing with you preliminary findings from a project that a colleague, Dr. Sam Borboom, and I are working on at Montana State University Billings. So a really brief literature review due to time. Overall, we've seen that HyFlex benefits many different types of students and increases equity and access to education. There are many benefits for faculty as well, but we've also seen that there are many challenges that faculty face in trying to implement HyFlex as a modality. So this project actually began a few years ago when Sam and I created open-ended survey questions to administer to full-time faculty in 2022 because we wanted to find out how faculty were experiencing HyFlex. We know that there's a lot of research about how students experience HyFlex, but we also wanted to fill in that gap and find out what are faculty saying, what are their experiences. So we surveyed folks in 2022 and 2020. So in our most recent rendition of this study, we are trying to find out if people's ideas or experiences or perception of HyFlex has changed since we started our study back in 2022. We also changed it a little bit to try to increase the response rate, so we have included both closed-ended questions in the survey along with some open-ended questions. We're trying to hopefully get more folks to participate. So we sent out our open-ended and closed-ended survey questions via Qualtrics through email with a link, and we sent it out on May 28th at 8:46 p.m. and then again a week later at 8:52 a.m. on June 4th. We sent it to 124 full-time faculty at a regional comprehensive university. So these are folks who teach at the 100, 200, 300, 400, and sometimes 500, 600 level. So overall, we had 28 respondents, but 6 people did not complete the entire survey, so we decided to just look at the completed responses, which were 22. Overall, most respondents began teaching HyFlex after COVID-19. Of those 22, we had just a few who had been teaching beforehand, the respondents. And respondents have taught between one class, one section of a class, and then more than 6 sections. So we have a pretty wide range of experiences of people teaching HyFlex. The reasons that folks gave for teaching HyFlex, and this was a select all that apply question, so the highest counts that we saw were for student convenience. That was the initial reason for why people started teaching HyFlex. And then the second most common reason was to increase enrollment in a low enrolled section. And then some other folks marked other and then filled in the text box there. With regard to the array of modalities available when teaching HyFlex, we had folks who said that they would do it with an in-person meeting and an online asynchronous meeting. They would have an in-person meeting without the synchronous dial-in option. And so it was just an in-person class or an online asynchronous class, a regular online class without a meeting for folks. And then the other half said that they had the in-person meeting with the online dial-in option, so having WebEx or some other teleconferencing software available, and also the online asynchronous. 2 people said other, and they talked about the different ways that they set up their classes. So when asked why they chose that array, and this was another select all that apply option here, the most popular answer was that it worked best for students. Others said, and the next most popular answer was, it worked best for me. and then some other folks marked that it best suits the content that I teach. When asked what was the most challenging aspect of teaching HyFlex, again, another check all that apply. The most popular answer was uncertainty about whether students will attend in person, if you'd have any students in person, or if there'd be just a couple. Other people said that they were concerned about the workload, that it was really challenging, the workload was challenging. Others talked about the technology being a struggle, and other faculty noticed a decrease in student performance. So when asked if they would continue to teach HyFlex, most people said that they would, but a fair amount of folks said that they wouldn't. And then you'll notice these don't add up to 22. We had a few people who just didn't respond to that. So we're seeing a mix of enthusiasm for HyFlex in 2025 based on these limited responses. There are continuing challenges of unpredictability with regard to who's going to come to the in-person class or who's going to dial in. Also workload issues and the technology still being difficult sometimes to manage. We're also seeing faculty report a decrease in student performance when compared to the in-person only sections, and the reasons that faculty are going to continue offering it, the reasons that they've given, are that it serves student needs. The key takeaways, very similarly, are that faculty struggle with unpredictability, increased workload, and the technology required for HyFlex to work well as a modality. But despite these challenges, many will continue to offer their courses in HyFlex because they want to provide opportunities for students. So there are many limitations to this study. We were only able to deploy this to one university. 22 of 124 respondents is about a 17% response rate, and the survey invitations were sent out during summer session, so that might have limited the responses. And also, this is a qualitative study. We are also looking at the open-ended responses and analyzing those. So there are many limitations to this work in progress. Our future directions kind of speak to those limitations. We do hope to survey the faculty again in the fall to try to increase the response rate. We also want to qualitatively analyze those open-ended survey responses, as I mentioned, and we do hope to expand this to other regional comprehensive universities. We hope to interview faculty who volunteered for greater depth of understanding of the experience. So included in the survey that was sent out, after people consent to being a part of the survey, they can volunteer by giving their email address, volunteer to be contacted for an in-depth interview with one of the researchers so that we can talk through and get a little bit better understanding of why folks might choose to use HyFlex in a particular way or what struggles they're having with it. So here are our references, and thank you very much.